Okay, this is lesson 16. We're going to talk about circles, parts of a circle, and eventually in this unit or lesson get into circumference. The next lesson will be about the area. So first off, I said for you to use a paper clip and a pencil to draw a circle. I'm going to use a compass here. So I take the compass and I span it out for a certain distance, and then I just spin right around, making yourself a perfect circle. And you can do this again with the paperclip and a pencil, and I'll see that when I look over how you did as far as the notes go. Your own definition of the circle. What a circle is. Well, if you notice, we started right here in the center. And then we had a single distance out here to where that pencil is of the compass. And then I went and I took that pencil and went around the whole entire area. Well, that would be known as all points equidistant from a given point. Okay, that's one of my definitions of a circle, or a pretty notable definition of a circle. You can come up with your own as well. C is the center of the circle. So we're going to look at this circle right now, and C is the center. The distance between C and B, the distance right here, is known as the radius of the circle. And if you extend CB to point A on the opposite side of the circle, so I'm going to draw A right in here, and we extend this, okay, we have what's called the diameter of the circle. The diameter is how much as long as the radius. So think about that. What we did here, okay, this distance here, makes the whole entire diameter. So how many of these do we need to make the one there? And the answer is 2 of them, or it's twice as long as the radius. Therefore, to find the radius or the diameter given the other one is fairly straightforward. For instance, I'll do these first 2. This has a radius of 7.3 meters. Well, if I want the diameter, that means I'm going to extend that. That also would be 7.3 meters. So together, the diameter would equal 14 6/10 meters. On this one over here, the diameter is 12 centimeters. I only want the radius, which is exactly half of that. So therefore, the radius equals 6 centimeters. Now, on your notes, I want you to go ahead and find the diameter of this circle and find the radius of this circle. So you can pause it now, look at what we did on the other ones, fill those in, and then hit play again when you're ready. Now we are going to talk about the circumference of a circle. The circumference is also kind of like the perimeter of the circle. Okay? The circumference goes around the entire circle, the distance all the way around. Well, perimeter means the distance around a polygon, i.e. a rectangle is the 2 lengths added together, the 2 widths added together, and then both of those sums added to give you the distance around the whole entire rectangle. Well, with circles, we call it the circumference. Now, as you can see, the ratio of the circumference, the ratio, going in with what unit we're talking about right now, of the circumference to the diameter is always the same. And that's that favorite symbol, pi. So the ratio is circle over diameter is called the number pi, and is represented by the pi symbol. It's a Greek letter, the 16th letter of the Greek alphabet, pi. So since the circumference, if you can see here, what they did is they took a rope and they put it around a circle and they cut it. And then they laid out the rope, the whole entire distance. So there's 3 and then just a little bit more. Okay, and that's the same for every single circle. You could go ahead and take a string and go around any kind of circle in your house and find the circumference, lay that string nice and flat, in a straight line, and then look at that diameter, and you're going to find 3 diameters plus just a little bit more. And we'll talk about that. Pi is a number that's just a little greater than 3. The thing is, pi is a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal, meaning it will never end and never repeat. Okay? It's what's known as an irrational number. Therefore, we use the symbol pi to kind of give an idea of what it is, but we have to approximate it all the time. And some of the most popular approximations that we use is 3 and 1400ths, 22/7, which actually Archimedes discovered, or today we're going to use the calculator button. Okay, most of the time in class and so on, I want you to use the calculator button because that's the most accurate that you guys can get. Okay, and that's usually the best. All right, an exact answer, exact. Now keep that in mind. If I say what's the exact value of the circumference or the exact value of the area, you have to use the symbol pi. Okay, you do not put in 3 and 1400ths or 22/7 or even use the calculator button, even though the calculator button gives you a pretty good approximation. Exact means use the pi. The ratio of the circumference to the diameter and pi to 1 are equal. They are in proportion. Again, the unit that we are talking about now, ratios and proportions. The circumference of the circle equals pi times d. Therefore, the ratio of c over d equals pi, or c equals pi d. If this looks kind of familiar to you, let me pull in this. Y over x equals k, or y equals kx. That means it's a direct proportion with one another. Okay, so keep that in mind that that's what we're doing right now in class and using. Exercise 2. We're going to find the circumference of these circles, and we're going to use the circumference formula, c equals pi d, which we had just right up above. So if circumference equals pi times d, and it does say to use 22/7 as pi. So we're going to substitute in what we know. We do not know the distance around the circle, so we're going to leave c. Pi, we're going to put in 22/7, and then the diameter we can see is all the way across here, so we will use 21. And I didn't put centimeters in, we'll put the centimeters in at the end. Now, all you have to really do is multiply. Well, if you notice, you have the 7 on the bottom and the 21 on top. So we can cross off the 7 and put a 1 there, cross off the 21 and put a 3. And now it's just 22 times 3, which equals 66, and we will label it centimeters. Okay? And I'll do one more for you, and you will do the middle one. This one right here is c equals pi d. That's what we know so far. C, we don't know. Pi is 22/7. Well, wait a minute. This is the radius, not the diameter. So again, to get the diameter, we got to double this radius because it takes 2 radius to make a diameter. 2 radii is singular. So therefore, we got to take 35/2 and multiply that by 2. Well, the nice thing about it is the 2's cross off, and all you're left with is 35 meters. So the diameter is 35. Again, notice that 7 goes into 7 once, 7 goes into 35 5 times. So it's just 5 times 22, which is 110. And again, we're going to put in meters at the end to show what the length or what the unit is. Now, there are a couple more to do. All right, and I'm going to have you guys go and see. We actually have to cross off. That was my mistake. I didn't realize that I copied the same question twice. Okay, but we have the radius of a paper plate is 11.7 centimeters. Remember, radius is 11.7 centimeters. To find the circumference, we're going to need the diameter. And we need to round it to the nearest tenth and use 3.14 for pi. So if the radius equals 11 7/10 centimeters, we have to double that to get the diameter. Well, 11 doubled is 22. 7/10 doubled is 1 4/10. So we add them together and we get 23 4/10 centimeters. So C equals pi d. Plug in what you know. You got to find circumference. Pi is 3 1400ths. That's what they said to use. And the diameter we just figured out was 23 4/10. Now, you should have a calculator. So go ahead and type that in. 3.14 times 23 4/10. And I got 73.476. So 73.476, but it says round to nearest tenth, so I'm going to write down 73.5 or 73 and a half, and in this case it would be centimeters, because we're just looking for the one distance all the way around. Again, I would like you to do part D of this and think about what that is, okay? Part D, or question D, says a circle has a radius of r centimeters and a circumference of c centimeters. Write a formula that expresses the value of c in terms of r and pi. Well, we know c equals pi d, but we don't know anything about radius. Well, yeah, we do. Remember, the radius, how many radii does it take to make a diameter? The diameter is twice as long as the radius, so twice means 2, not times 2w, what, that was silly, multiply 2 times r. So here, instead of putting the d that we have here, we're going to replace that d with 2r. So 2r. And I just don't like the way that that looks, and that's not popular. So we're going to do c equals 2 pi r. And if you want to, take the time and go up here and do 2 times pi times r. So 2 times pi times 11.7, okay? Again, what I'm talking about when I say here is right there. 2 times pi times 11.7, or 2 times 3 1400ths times 11 7/10. And you'll see that you would get the exact answer that we had before, because all we did was multiply the radius times 2 anyways. All right, this concludes the first video. Hope you like it.